Hey everyone, today I'm just going to do a quick little impromptu video just comparing these three TIR throwers. Got the Lumintop AD01, Sofirn IF22a and the Speras M4. We'll have some Beamshots that I'll show you later to compare side by side what they look like in the same situation. I've used them for differing amounts of times, these two for many months. The Lumintop I just got over a week ago, and you can see the size of them quite a big difference, and the bezel size is actually kind of similar across the board. Lumintop is a little bit larger than the IF22a and the M4, but quite similar in terms of that. But you know, battery tube wise, I mean, the AD01 takes a D cell on top of a few other battery combinations, including 18650 and double A cells in a holster, whereas the IF22a takes 21700, M4 takes an 18350 cell. So you look at that, I mean, it's a lot shorter, easier to fit in your pocket as well. And practicality wise, it really depends. I mean, if you need something that runs for a long time, that's able to sustain its lumens, the AD01 is pretty good. If you don't want to carry something around that large, the IF22 is also a good go-between for both of these, holds its output and sustains lumens for longer than either than the M4, but not as much as the AD01. But again, you know, the M4 is the smallest to carry around, so that might be the only one that you need if you're going for a short walk or something like that. So overall construction, I would say that the Lumintop AD01 and the M4 have a little bit of an edge in terms of construction. The machining is just a bit better, more refined. You don't, as you can see here, the IF22a has quite a reflective coating on it as well, so it's a little bit more shiny, and it is actually the cheapest out of all of these lights, but I would say it's the best value because it throws almost just as far as both of these lights at the end of the day, produces the most amount of light. Okay, but yeah, you're paying about maybe $40 to $50 depending on where you are situated in the world. Some differences in terms of the LEDs. This one uses an SFT40, the IF22a. The Lumintop AD01 uses a CUL PM1 emitter. And the Speras M4 uses a special emitter called the Yiding 5050, and it's a round LED, so it's like a round die cast or whatever you call it. So, but the Speras M4 uses a round die LED, so I think it produces a really nice beam, especially when you compare it to some of the other throwy lights that you have out there. But these two do a great job in terms of concentrating that light into a rounder circle as well. I do find that the M4 probably has the most aesthetically pleasing beam. Then you've got the AD01 and Sofirn IF22a, but yeah, all of them look probably very similar. If you put them side to side, you wouldn't be able to tell a huge difference, only if you're quite picky. Simple sort of modes as well on all of these lights. For the IF22a, you can switch between step ramping and smooth ramping. You should just switch the light on and then click and hold to increase increase and decrease the brightness of the light. You can also access moonlight mode by clicking and holding. There is a lockout mode as well. Pretty simple. The Speras M4 has a step ramping mode and also has a lockout mode. I think that's one of the most important features, just being able to lock out this light, because it is quite risky. This thing turns on in your pocket. Often I found it anyway, because the button's just very easy to press. Compared to the IF22a, it does take a little bit more encouragement to get going, but yeah, something to remember. The AD01, you basically press to switch the flashlight on, and you just have to click again and again to cycle through the modes. When you're at a particular mode, you double click and that gets you onto turbo. Click again brings you back to the previous mode, and you have to click and hold to turn the flashlight off. Okay, so that's the difference. I mean, compared to these two, I'd say these UIs are quite similar compared to the Lumintop AD01, but all in all, they do have quite a intuitive, simple UI. So let's go into the beam shots and you can see how they perform together. The Sofirn IF22a first on turbo. Okay, look at that beautiful beam. On the left, that's the Sofirn IF22a. On the right, I have got the Speras M4. Okay, and they both throw pretty similar distances
difficult to really tell. I mean, I think the Speras M4 just has that little slight advantage perhaps, but not 100%. Okay, now let's go ahead and I'll turn on the AD01 here on the right. Okay, that's the AD01. Far left I've got the IF22a, middle Speras M4. The AD01 definitely outthrows the others. And we'll get the Speras M4 next to the IF22a one more time. M4 on the left. Okay, so Speras M4 on the left. And IF22a on the right. Okay. Quite similar, I'd say. The Speras M4 just has a warmer beam, and the hotspot is just not as large as the IF22a. But the IF22a produces the most light out of all of these lights, but again just probably has the least amount of throw, but still very impressive, I have to say. Gets really hot though. It's got that SFT40 in there. Very hot, this IF22a. I almost just want to ramp it down a bit, turn that off. Speras M4 first on the left, AD01 turbo. Okay, that middle tree, and definitely, I mean, that AD01's just got a bit more of an edge. It's a smaller hotspot as well. And one thing to keep in mind is that the AD01 just takes a lot longer to ramp down. So as the test keeps going on, you actually see the difference between the two. More significant difference, that's for sure. But I mean, the Speras M4 just has more of a wider beam. Some people might prefer that. Let's turn these both off. We'll put the AD01 on high mode, and we'll see what that compares to on the turbo mode with the IF22a. So let me just get that to the right part. So 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's the high mode, and the IF22a. Okay. And I'd say they're very similar. I mean, I think even the AD01 might just have a slight edge when compared to this IF22a in terms of actual throwing distance. So even on high it manages to outthrow it. Put it on turbo, let's see what happens, and look at that, it's definitely a winner on the turbo. Reactivate that turbo and the IF22a, and still, I mean, you can definitely see that trunk of that tree just lit up a lot more with the AD01. And one thing I'm noticing as well is that the IF22a is just getting so hot I can barely hold on to it, whereas the AD01 is completely it's just slightly warm, really. Okay. Up close, a little bit closer. Very hard to hold on to that IF22a. Speras M4 on the left. Okay, that's on turbo, and the AD01 on the right. Okay, Speras M4, AD01. So look at that. I mean, I think the Speras M4 does outthrow the IF22a, but it can't beat that larger reflector and the extra heat sinking that you get with the AD01. The AD01 also has a different emitter. You see ULPM1 in there, and you know, out of all these torches, I've run the AD01 for the longest as well. Starting to get hotter, the AD01.